On the countryside, we lived in a spacey house all by ourselves. Mother was rather eccentric, having her private ideas that were not always understandable to others. She was a fairly tall lady, always concerned about her appearance. Her style was utterly feminine, wearing long dresses, bracelets, lipstick, and nail polish. We had a very close relationship. I admired her very much, and my behavior was a tribute to my mother. "You are my darling," she said. I replied, "You are my mom." I loved sitting right next to her, resting my head against her soft bosom. This was my happy childhood, and I didn't miss anything. I parked my bike outside the entrance, walked in, gave my mother a hug, and took a glass of warm milk. She was busy with her astrology and theories of cosmic influence on human behavior. According to my mom, there were no coincidences in this world. Everything was a result of destiny. I was told how the great persons of history were born under different planetary constellations. That was the explanation to wars, disasters, love affairs, and even Olympic gold medals. I believed it. In fact, I believed everything she said. What alternatives were there? She supplied me with most of the information I needed. We hugged and kissed. I loved her warm skin, her friendly small talk, and her fondling my hair. "You are such a wonderful kid. I just love you. You are the best thing that happened to me. I got a cookie. Are you happy, love?" I guess I was different from other boys. Maybe I was a little immature for my age. And there were no signs of puberty. My admiration for my mother was something special. Other kids were maybe fighting for their autonomy. I just needed my mother's attention, and I loved her admiring me. Her femininity was interesting. I tried to copy her movements and speech. I wanted to walk like her, swing my hips, and stand in front of the mirror like her. I pursued my lips and pressed my eyelashes upward. She laughed softly at me. "You need to practice more, darling." She stood on her knees, held her arm around my waist, looked me in the eyes, and smiled. "You would make a perfect girl." She turned the hi-fi on, danced with me on the living room floor, swung her skirt, laughed, and hugged me. "Dancing is fun." I agreed, like always, and tried to copy her steps. Actually, she was pretty good. Dancing was her favorite hobby in high school. We could dance for a long time, swing around, and have fun. Maybe I could become a great dancer. Fantasy has no limits. "Your hair is so wonderful, Sam." For some reason, my locks had not been cut for several months. Mother liked to let her fingers slide through them. "It is so soft." Her hair was dark and went to the middle of her back. She used to curl it while I was watching. My hair was blonde and reached my shoulders. Pretty hair should not be cut. The girls in my class agreed with my mom. They asked how I managed to keep it so neat. I had no idea. Mother was in charge of the shampooing. But I knew it was a whole procedure. Mother was often removing my hair from my eyes, gazing at me, kissing my forehead, smiling, and giving me compliments. "You are the prettiest thing." I was easy to ask. I loved doing household chores with her. Perhaps I was not very useful, but she seemed to enjoy baking, washing, doing the laundries, and cooking together with her son. We talked about food, the world, clothes, and people. I used to have a lot of questions, and she did not seem to be bothered by them. I am sure many of my questions were silly. Nevertheless, she tried to answer them seriously. She smiled at my questions, but I never felt silly. Mother was my source of knowledge, comfort, joy, and encouragement. Sometimes she invited her girlfriends to our house. The women were laughing and discussing. I tried to follow their conversation, but it was often too boring to keep my attention. Pretty often they turned their eyes to me. Mother bragged about her son, and the women kept nodding and oh-ohing. He is so cute. What a wonderful guy. Mom was visibly proud of me. She talked to the guests about horoscopes, planets, and stars. Some of the ladies didn't follow that and kept silent. After the guests had left, Mother shook her head and complained on how some of her friends didn't acknowledge the important things in life. One of our common activities was reading catalogs. Living on the countryside, it was a 30 minutes ride to the next village. So, Mom bought a lot of our things by mail. We used to discuss styles and patterns. When she bought clothes for me, I had an opinion first. We always reached common conclusions. Those would be nice on you. In my little school, there were only a few boys. I thought traditional boy clothes were a bit boring, but certainly knew about the limits between girls' and boys' clothing. The girls in my class were a lot fancier than the boys. I liked their pink and purple garments and gave them compliments when they made good choices. I played with them in the schoolyard and was accepted as playmate. But I felt I had to look like a boy. I don't know where I learned that, certainly not from my mother. She was very open-minded when it came to gender differences. She actually seemed to prefer my feminine traits. I love our small girl talks. She used to say that when we read the ads sitting in our sofa, I used to sit leaning against her while pointing in the magazines. Mother was so accepting that I was able to expose my soft sides, at least from time to time. That green skirt would be wonderful on you, Mom. Do you think so? Maybe I should buy it? You just have to. It matches your Peter Pan collared blouse. My conversations with Mother had taught me a few things about women's clothes. I found colors and styles interesting. Mom was pleased with that. You are such a nice and skillful kid. You could be a designer. The interesting boxes came with the mailman. There are some benefits from living in rural areas. One of them is the mail being delivered at your door. Mother enjoyed the mail and the mailman. I knew she fancied him, and she used to ask him in for coffee. He was a big guy with broad shoulders and a bass voice. They exchanged some gazes but hadn't started dating. I know he was fascinated by her too. Mother used to go out with a few men, but never started a lasting relationship. After the mailman had emptied his coffee cup, he left. Mother and I used to unpack the boxes together. Mother went on the catwalk between the hallway and living room, and I usually approved to her purchases. And when clothes were for me, I did it her way, walking back and forth, trying to be elegant. From time to time, I gave small hints that I preferred pink or white instead of the boyish gray, marine or dark green. Mother regularly let me wear an apron and the headscarf when we were in the kitchen. We were equally dressed. The apron was red checkered, a bit frilly and tied in the back with a big bow. She said she enjoyed when we were matching each other. She taught me to wash my hands thoroughly before and after kitchen work. Afterwards we used to rub our hands with hand cream that smelled like flowers. I loved that smell that gave me fantasies of summer and holidays. The mirror was in the hallway, and I often passed it to watch myself in the apron. Mom nodded and said, "We girls care about our appearance." I thought about it, I was a boy, but she called me a girl from time to time. And I never protested. I used to watch her applying makeup. I could sit for hours studying and asking, "What is that called? Why do you use mascara?" I used to tell her that she was beautiful when she wore her makeup. She told me that almost all big girls used to wear makeup. It was a part of life. She even let me try the mascara, and I went directly to the hallway to watch the result. Makeup is difficult in the beginning. You should let mother help you with that. I blinked my eyes and tried to look girly. She told me I was the best boy she ever knew. You are soft, nice, pretty, lovely, and mommy's dearest friend. New clothes at school. I had some problems with maths. I tried to concentrate on the subjects every day but did not always succeed. The girls seemed to manage the numbers better than me. One day I thought everything was a chaos. I was afraid of being stupid and could not hold my tears back. The girls in my class tried to comfort me but did not succeed. My basketball and car enthusiast friends did not seem to care. The teacher did not recognize my feelings. I felt so lonely and worthless. My mind was in a chaos. That day started very dark and scary. When I came home with the school bus, Mother held me close to her. "My dear, don't be afraid. You and I will manage together. Nothing can hurt us." I was sobbing at the kitchen table with my mother caressing my hair. "Sweetie, you are the very best. You know that. Don't let this bother you. Let's do something together." My face rested on her shoulder, and I am sure she could feel my tears against her skin. "Do you know something? I was in the village today. I couldn't keep myself from buying something for you. But I am not sure if you like it." I looked at her with a questioning look. My eyes were red and tearful. She held my hand in hers. Her nails were manicured chestnut brown. She watched me with her brown eyes and long eyelashes and smiled. "Little sweetie, how I love you." She walked out of the kitchen and returned shortly after carrying a paper bag. It had Ellie with fancy letters on it. I watched her as she sat down in front of me. "Darling, I can't always find suitable clothes in the boys' department for you. So, I couldn't resist buying this." She took a burgundy pullover out of the bag. It was rib knit pattern and a turtleneck. The garment was softer than everything else that I had. I was a bit puzzled, then happy. "Oh, Mom, it is so fine." She was pleased by my comments. "It should suit you." I took off my blue shirt and pulled my new sweater over my head. It was tight to the body and had a wide neck. She gave me compliments and told me I was sweet in it. "It is just your style, sweetie. You just have to keep it." My new sweater was worn in the morning and evening. I even wanted to wear it at night, but then Mom protested. "It is so soft." "I love it, Mom." She found a pair of my ordinary trousers that matched it, and I wore it to the ladies' club too. They seemed to approve my mother's last purchase and gave me compliments about my matching clothes. One of the ladies suggested I got a haircut, but Mom replied, "Beautiful hair is not to be cut." End of discussion. The basketball. One day a basketball hit my chest in the PE. It hurt more than expected, and I complained to my mom when getting home. She gave me a hug and asked me to take off my shirts. I felt a little shy and tried first to hide my nipples with my elbows. Then she inspected them carefully. She let her finger circle them while putting a slight pressure. Ouch! My left nipple was extremely tender. "Sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. My little one, it seems your breasts are protruding a little. It hurts." "I know. Once it was like that for me too." Mom was thinking while holding my hand. "Maybe we should try to protect you from future incidents." "What do you mean?" "Girls your age start wearing bras. A padded bra would certainly protect your sore breasts." I was confused. How could she suggest such a feminine garment? After all, I was a boy. My heart started pounding. I guess I blushed. Mom held me against her and hugged me. I just don't want you to have pain. Then she held my head with both hands and looked me in the eyes. I remember I tried to look away. The conversation ended there. I was not able to handle my mixed emotions. I had always been fascinated by female attire. But this, all of a sudden. Later the evening I repeated my complaints on my chest pain. Mother had noticed my shyness and made a decision. I know what. I'll get you a bra. Just to see if it helps you. Boys don't wear bras. Boys are different. Some do. Especially the pretty ones like you. Don't be afraid. It's just you and me. Then she measured my torso. It is clearly an AA what? Bra cups come in different sizes. You are the smallest one. That did not wonder me. I had been watching my breasts in the bathroom mirror. I could feel small tender lumps behind both of them. But I had never thought of a bra or something. However, the lumps did not scare me. Someone had told me that such development might happen to boys. The next couple of days the tenderness seemed to disappear. Then our familiar mailman was at the door bringing some small and larger packages. After the usual cup of coffee and flirting, he left. I did not think about it until Mom the same evening told me to come and sit right next to her. I pulled my feet up under me and leaned against her like I so often did. Here, Lil Sam, I've got something for you. You remember that I wanted to protect you from the chest pain. Here is my suggestion. Then she handed me a little package wrapped in powder blue paper. It had a little bow on it and was obviously a gift. This is from me to you. Hope you like it. I felt my heart beat again. And my mouth felt dry. At the same time, it was a pleasant and scary feeling, like the ambivalence I used to have when it comes to girly things. I unpacked the gift slowly. Inside was a little lavender box with bow undies on it. I still remember the brand, it seemed so important to me. I opened it slowly as if I feared the content. Mom smiled at me. Maybe she was a bit uneasy about the whole thing too. I lifted the bra out of the box. Mom praised it. Isn't that a little cutie? It was a plain skin-colored full-covering bra with a bow between the cups. Mom held it up for me to see. It is a little padded to protect your breast from new blows. It is also plain, so it is not too visible on the outside. What do you think? I stuttered. It's okay, I guess. But I can't wear it to school. You can if you wear a baggy sweatshirt, and when there is no PE. I didn't feel confident in her statements. But I also felt stimulated by her encouragements. We went straight to the bathroom, and Mother told Med to undress. She helped me to put the bra on, and she adjusted the straps. It is a little unfamiliar in the beginning. Later I will teach you how to do this all by yourself. Wow. This is a perfect fit. Mail order is always a bit exciting. You never know if you get the right size. In front of me in the mirror was a little boy, or let's say former boy, named Sam. He was wearing a bra like his female classmates. The bra covered his tiny breasts. He let his fingers slide over his new bra. Mom was excited. Do you like it? It suits you. Can you see that? Mother stood close behind and held her arms around me. She gave me a hug while we both were looking into the mirror. I was quiet but gave her a little smile. It feels so strange. When am I supposed to wear it? As often as you like. She pulled one of my college shirts down over my upper body and asked me to turn around. See? It doesn't show. She was right. It didn't. Now, let's try your knitted burgundy pullover instead. That was really something else. The pullover hugged my body and created a lot more feminine look. I now had small, but obvious breasts. Mother giggled. Congratulations. You've got curves. See how you can change your expression by changing your pullovers. I think I smiled. At least I felt pleased and taken care of. I told Mother I wanted to whisper something in her ear. Thanks, Mom. I licked her earlobe and breathed softly into her ear. She used to love that little sign of gratitude and affection and kissed my forehead. Oh, how I love you, Sam. You are my precious diamond. Visiting Grandma lived 20 minutes drive from us. We used to visit her regularly. She was a very vital 60-year-old widow with a busy schedule. Grandma was active in the women's lib and protested in the streets from time to time. But she was also a very caring and lovable woman, always having her grandson in mind. So, I always felt welcome in her home. There were always a lot of questions to answer. How was school and friends? What books did I read and what music did I play? She always served us the most delicious dinners. I loved the cream and jelly desserts. Some days after I got my bra, I sort of got used to wearing it. I also wore it to school behind sweatshirts and baggy pullovers. The fear and awareness that someone might discover it diminished. As we entered Grandma/S house, I got the usual warm embraces and hugs. Then suddenly I froze. I am sure she discovered my bra clasp and maybe felt my padded bra against her chest. But there was no comment on it, as if nothing had happened. I slowly started to relax and join the dinner. During the dishwashing, I watched TV. I could hear Mom and Grandma talk silently in the kitchen, almost whispering. When I entered the room for some more ice cream, they stopped talking. Later that afternoon, we watched photographs from the old days when Grandma was a kid. They mentioned several times to what extent I was like her and had the same facial features. By the way, Sam, I have got something for you. Actually, I have saved it for a granddaughter. But I never got any. So, I hope you would like it. Grandma held a little box in her hand. She told me that she, when she was in my age, got it from her grandma. It is valuable and made of gold. I remember how much I loved it as a teenager and wore it in respect and love for my own grandma. If you intend to put it away, I will rather give it to someone else. So, you must promise to wear it. I opened my hand. Grandma put the box in it. I closed my hand, and she put hers on top. Bless you. I did not know what to say. I slowly opened the jewelry box. Mom made a big sigh. Aren't you a lucky little fella? Inside was a gold finger ring with a tiny white stone. I watched it silently for a long time. I don't think I said anything. Then I watched Grandma and my mother. Mom raised her eyebrows and nodded to me several times quickly. I didn't find any words. It's beautiful, isn't it? Mom helped me with words, and I nodded. Yeah, it is. I usually did not have difficulties praising Mom's feminine attire. But when the pretty things were meant for me, I just got dumb. Do you think I can wear it, Mom? I suggest you try it on first. The ring fit my left middle finger. I stretched my fingers and watched. Mom kept her enthusiasm. You should wear it. It is so sweet and suits you perfect. You should be proud and grateful. I gave Grandma a big hug, thanked her and told her I was happy. She reminded me, remember to wear it every day. Think of me every time you watch it. She laughed of her impossible demands. I was told afterwards that I the rest of the evening could not lose the ring out of sight. And I think Grandma was pleased that her gift was so well received. But I also thought about the challenges that might face me if I wore it to school. And I intended to do that. A promise is meant to be kept. When I was ready to sleep, Mom sat by my bed to say goodnight. I just had to ask her, do you think Grandma discovered my bra? Mom stroked my hair and smiled. I think so. Does she think I am a fool? Why? She adores you. Why do you think she gave you the precious gift? Don't be ashamed of your bra. Wear it with confidence. The next day was a PE day. So, I skipped the bra, but wore my new ring. Mother brushed my longish hair in the morning like she usually did. You have such wonderful hair. We should style it a little. Now it just hangs straight down without any shape or hairstyle. I didn't really know what she meant. That day I was continually paying attention to my ring. At school I felt like everyone wanted to watch it and maybe make fool of me. I was scared. All the voices seemed so loud. I kept my left hand in the pocket most of the time. But during the day I started to forget and exposed my hand more and more often. And nothing happened until a week had passed. Then a girl in my class just said it was a nice ring. I told her I got it from my grandma, and she said I was lucky. Hairdo Mom kept on complaining on my lack of hairdo. Then she suggested we go to the hairdresser. Normal barber shops don't know how to do long hair. We should go to the place where they style my hair. I shrugged my shoulders and had no great opinions on the matter. On the day of our appointment, Mother asked if she could do my face a little. I asked her what could happen if someone saw me. You are just going to the hairdresser. No one will notice. See what I bought for you. A new hoodie. The pullover was pale pink with the print Dallas Cowboys on it. It was not very feminine, but certainly not meant for boys. I wore my bra underneath, and Mother boasted of my appearance. Then she applied a little mascara to my eyelashes and a very pale pink lipstick to my lips, hardly noticeable. You're hot. Ready for the hairdresser. I was unprepared for what I was about to experience. The first thing I noticed were the strange smells. This was unfamiliar territory. I saw several women sitting under their hairdryers reading magazines. And there was not a single man in sight. I could hear female voices. Some were laughing, some were talking. Again, I perceived the voices as loud. But I am sure they were not. At first, no one seemed to notice the newly arrived mother and her slightly effeminate son with a beating heart. Then one of the hairstylists greeted us. She was a middle-aged dark-haired woman with a made-up face. Mother pushed me slightly toward her and said, "This son of mine has lovely hair. We need some help to style it." Of course. Welcome to us. What is your name? Sam, my name is Louise. I love your hair, Sam. Your mother is right. Many of my customers would be envious. She let me sit down, grabbed my hair in her hand and squeezed it. We have possibilities here. Have you thought of a style, Sam? She combed my hair straight down. I shook my head. Got no idea. Ask my mom. In the mirror, I saw Mother trying to express something to Louise as if she shouldn't speak loudly. I think he appreciates his long hair and does not want it shorter. From time to time he admires his girl classmates' styles. I froze again. Mom had broken a secret. Mom. Louise took simultaneously mother and defense and reduced my fear. Okay. That's just fine. Don't worry. There are many styles that work for both girls and boys. My suggestion is that we create bangs. Your face will be adorable with bangs. And we cut layers on the sides. What do you think of that, Sam? I just agreed without knowing the implication of what she said. Mother said that Louise's suggestion would be fine. Just don't make his hair a lot shorter. Louis started with washing my hair, then cut it the way she suggested. Then she blew it dry. She used a lot more time than the barber. And voila! I had the most beautiful girl hairstyle imaginable. Like always, I suffered from panic and pleasure at the same time. What will the kids at school say? Louise showed me how I could comb my hair differently, so the feminine touch was reduced. That calmed me down a little bit. Have you ever thought of piercing your ears? It looks wonderful if you want the more girly appearance. This came too sudden. Again, I found no words. Mother took my hand. What do you think, Sam? I can't. Please don't do it. Mother told Louise that her suggestion was good but came too sudden for mother and son. Louise gave us her card and told us to take contact any time. Then we thanked, paid and left. On the outside of the shop I was absolutely sure that the whole city was studying my hair. I thought some of them were laughing at me. No question about it. Everyone who was laughing at me. I just could not imagine that anyone would mind their own things. It was all about me now. But my assumptions were again incorrect. Life had to go on. The next day Mother and I had a chat at the kitchen table. She asked what I thought about my new hairstyle. I put my hand in my hair and pulled it with my fingers. It's kinda neat, you know something. I think Louise did an excellent job. I was surprised of the result. I don't think you realize how pretty you are. Thanks, Mom. In my heart I always had a desire to be pretty. And whenever Mother confirmed that, I felt pleased. At the same time, I felt confused, because boys usually had other desires. I went to the hallway mirror and started shaping my hair in different ways. Mom put a hairbrush in my hand and gave me a little help. You're a sweetie, my little princess. I certainly don't look like a prince. Mother put a hairpin into my hair, and I giggled a little. Then I tried to move in a girly way. Mother called me a beauty. Then we sat down and continued our breakfast. Sam, you have had your bra for 3 weeks now. And you wear it almost every day. I have already washed it twice. What do you think about it? I haven't had chest pain since I got it. Bras need to be comfortable. How is yours? Well, I get used to it. Mom took my hand and stared right into my eyes. My darling. Try to express what you feel. You are wearing a girl's garment. What does it do to you? I feel embraced. Buy it. HM. Do you like that feeling? I think so. What do you think of the color and shape? I don't know. Some of the girls in my class have bigger boobs. Mom kept on holding my hand. Would you like to have bigger breasts? Maybe, okay. You are now wearing A cups. Not many girls of your age have B cups. You don't have enough breast tissue to fill them. So, we need inserts too. And no pullover will be able to hide your new breasts. Are you ready for that? I felt a desire to have real full breasts, but had difficulties expressing it to my mom. It was just too embarrassing, and I felt like a lunatic. Something had to be awfully wrong with me. Why was I so unlike other boys? Forget it, Mom. I'll write it in my inner notebook. Anyway, you need some new A-cup bras. They come in all different shapes, styles, and textures. Have you seen some that you like? No. Just forget it. I was too ashamed to express my desires that morning. Mom seemed to recognize that, gave me a kiss and sent Med off to school with a pat on my bottom. Preparing for the astrology convention, Mother was crazy about the astrology. All kinds of mysterious things seemed to interest her. She was a member of a local star and planet organization but had no interest in the scientific part. Everything was about future and that great circle of zodiac. I wasn't very interested in Mom's stuff but tried to listen patiently when she was preaching. She wanted to take me to the great astrology and spiritism convention. It was rather far from home, so we needed to stay 2 nights at a hotel. My enthusiasm was limited, but I didn't have a choice. Mom was looking forward to this. Her singing in the kitchen indicated a good mood and great expectations. Aren't we going to have fun, little fella? Hope so. We need to prepare. What are you going to wear, for instance? My usual clothes, I guess. Again, she held me against her. No usual clothes. You need something new for the great event. She had been talking about the convent a long time, and I felt she had plans that included me. And I was right. It was time for a new box opening evening. And I loved these happenings. I felt so close to my mother often without knowing how to tell her. The boxes were this time not wrapped in gift paper, but she gave me a scissor and asked me to open them. The first contained a jacket that was quilted all over with small blue stars. The base color was a slightly gray and purple. It had a high collar and was meant for cold winter days like now. Astrology jacket. Try it on. I put my hands into the arms. Wow. It's perfect. Do you like it? I nodded and thanked her. The next were narrow gray jeans of stretch quality. Mom had to teach me how to put them on. I made a twirl wearing the jeans and the jacket. All cheered by Mom. I also got a pair of mid-calf black boots with low heels. I looked like a teenage girl from next door. Mom clapped her hands. Now ready for the intimates. The first little box was from Nordstrom and contained a black bra with matching panties. It was a lot different from the first. This had lace all over the cups and a lace edge. The black panties also had lace edges. My heart was beating, and I felt all my blood went to my cheeks. Mom made a rough voice, "Isn't that something?" She touched my leg and looked at me. "Oh. That must be your style. Am I right?" I nodded carefully, proud, happy and embarrassed at the same time. I held the bra up to her and managed to say low, "It's a beauty." Mom clapped her hands of overjoy. Her present was a hit. But most of all her boy managed to express his feelings. That made her so happy. I was so excited about this thing, and now I am so glad that you liked it. I turned out there were 2 other sets of bras and panties. One of them was an off-white set with small red butterflies on. The other was a gray and blue striped style without laces. These are all for school and should not show too much behind your sweaters. If you don't want them to. I was dumbfounded again. When you don't know how to say thank you, then just lick someone's earlobe. It worked this time too. What are you thinking, my dear? I just want to try on all this stuff. Take a shower first. Then put on your new things and let me dry your hair. Okay? I went off for the bathroom. After showering, I put on the black lacy bra and panties. This was the first time I wore panties. It felt strange, but I loved it. Then I pulled on my new stretch jeans and the knitted burgundy top I got some weeks ago. My mom praised me and made me sit at the vanity. Are we thinking girly today? I nodded, and then she blew dry my hair in the same style that Louise taught us. I saw myself turning into a girl. Mom had some moisture cream in my face. Then she put on a little mascara and some blush. The lipstick was pink. I turned my head from side to side. Mother asked, "Do you see a boy or a girl?" "A girl, see. There is a girl within you. Let her out." Then I left the vanity and watched myself in the tall hallroom mirror. Then I started to show girly mannerisms. I held my wrists against my hips and stretched my fingers. Then I turned from side to side. Mom came from behind. "My pretty angel. I feel so happy for you. Please be yourself." On the way to the astrology congress, I wore my new things. Inside the car, I felt secure and hidden. On the outside, it was a different story. Suddenly, Mom stopped at a mall. "Dear, you need some more girly tops. Let's see if we can find some new ones for you." "Are you sure, Mom?" "Of course. It will be fun." I had no experience shopping girls' clothes for myself or anyone else. And I felt like a stranger again. Inside the store, the background beat music sounded awfully loud. I heard ringing in my ears. My mouth was dry, and my heart pounded. I started looking for the exit. Mom, on the other hand, was excited. She preferred quality and not the cheapest shops. That meant that we were offered help from a young saleslady. "What can I do for you? My little one here needs some new tops." "That would be no problem. We have got lots of them." The saleslady asked if I knew my size. I looked at the floor and shook my head. Mom mentioned a probable size which I can't remember. "Let's have a look over here." The clerk went through the clothes hangers with her fingers. Then she suddenly pulled out a sweet red blouse. "This is my favorite. It's a Dolce & Gabbana band collar blouse in synthetic material. Very pretty." Mom agreed but found the price a bit stiff. Then we looked through a lot of tops in different color, length and shapes. Finally, we had a pile of 4 to take to the fitting room. I was sweating. The clerk must have noticed my nervousness. Inside the booth, Mother whispered in my ear, "Something wrong, dear? I can't breathe." "Try to relax, sweetie. No one notices you. You are a girl among the others here. I promise. Remember what you saw in the mirror back home before we left? I know how much these new clothes mean to you. Try to enjoy yourself." Shell held both my hands in hers. "Now, let's calm down and breathe softly. You are the pretty customer. The saleswoman is here for you. Without customers, no money for the shop. Okay?" I nodded bravely. Then I tried on the different blouses and sweaters. That was great, and I started feeling secure inside the fitting room. Underneath, I was wearing my gray stretch jeans that seemed to match all the tops. Many of the tops revealed my new black bra, but the laces were not visible. I just knew I had them. Mom pushed me out of the fitting room to watch myself in the large mirrors on the outside. Little girl and her mom passed but didn't watch me very long. The rest of our shopping that day I felt more secure and started to enjoy. We were to several shops trying on different tops. I managed to tell Mom what I liked and disliked. I used words like sweet and pretty. After a while, we were like two sisters shopping for clothes. In the shoe department, Mom wanted me to have some boots with heels. She told me I would need them later. So, we tried on several. Mother went for the elaborate lace-up high-top ankle boots. They had a narrow 3 inches heel. I tried them on. The clicking sound was a new, but exciting experience. I really felt girly and enjoyed it. Mom loved them. Wow. Look in the mirror and see what they do to your posture. I put my other boots on. Mom paid for the new ones, put them in the bag, and we went off to a restaurant before driving. All my new clothes were in the car trunk. And I was thinking of them all the time. Claiborne City had prepared itself a long time. The annual convention was all about paranormal phenomena, from witchery to therapy. I thought Mom was a little bit crazy about the whole thing. On the way to the city, there were posters and signs everywhere reminding us about all the spooky things ahead. We saw stars, fires, comets, castles, and witches, along with commercials about the best alternative therapist around. Mom wanted us to carry all our bags into the hotel room. There were rather many of them, not only the ones we bought that day. In the hotel room, Mom showed me the program for the convent. The first part of the day would be an exhibition with stands. In the evening, there was going to be a witch reunion with dinner, theater, competitions, and other entertainment. The program said, tickets for witches and wizards are 40% off. Mom thought this offer was irresistible. We'll dress as witches. How do we do that? Witches are women, aren't they? No problem. We are women. She was right and wrong at the same time. I didn't want to cheat to get that 40% discount. And I didn't have the witch costume. Mom looked at me and blinked an eye. Didn't you think I already thought of that? Mom taught me how to remove my mascara and lipstick with pads and baby oil. I felt a little uneasy about the witch thing before I fell asleep. What is in my future? Mom dressed me up the next morning. She handed me one of my new tops, a blue long-sleeved blouse with puffed shoulders, ruffles across the bust, and a lace under the bust. What do you think, dear? It's sweet, but I can't wear it to school. How lucky we're not at school. Try to be brave and feel comfortable in your new sweet blouse. She brushed my hair in the feminine style and let me apply the mascara. Oops, careful. I think we need to do it over again. My pink lipstick was a bit easier. I learned how to pursue my lips and later press them against the paper towel. That a girl. You look prettier than I did at the same age. Do you enjoy this? I nodded but admitted being a bit scared. I was dressed in my new star-quilted jacket and stretched jeans and low boots. Before leaving our room, Mother sprayed a little perfume on me. That was something new and gave me a delightful feminine boost. The venue was a noisy, huge indoor sport arena. There were stands everywhere and lots of people walking from stand to stand. Around each corner, people were talking and discussing. A music group claimed to play astrological harmonies. In some stands, they showed video clips. And there were many cubicles that were offering horoscopes, divinations, or supernatural therapies for every possible illness. We went arm in arm, also a new experience for me, at least at this age. But I felt taken care of in this wilderness of curiosities. Several places sold astrological jewelry. Mom bought me a Taurus golden necklace. Being in my girl mode, I managed to try it on without too much embarrassment. I also got a large golden constellation ring. I chose to wear on my right hand, not to disturb my precious grandma ring on the left. Mom took me into a little room with a strange lady with purple hair. Chet had an overdone makeup. She was wearing a long dress. The woman seemed to have met Mom before, and they greeted each other. In spite of my feminine appearance, Mom presented me as her son Sam. That was scary since I was supposed to pass as a girl. But the woman was very friendly and accepting. "Please sit down, Sam. I am so delighted to meet the son of this wonderful woman. Are you doing well?" She held my right hand and looked into my palm. Then she did the same with my left. She asked for my birthday. Ah. A Taurus. Taurus is a female constellation. Did you know that? She blinked an eye. And I gazed at my nodding mother. "May I make your horoscope?" How could I deny her? She talked about birth chart, moon, sun, planets and stars. Okay. Right. Are you ready? I felt a little uneasy, with simultaneous expectations and doubt. "You are a really lucky person. Your future smiles at you." That sounded good. But then she frowned and pulled her breath. "You should listen to your heart. Do the things you desire. It seems you will have to make a very important decision. Again, follow your heart when you decide. You will have to ignore those who don't agree. Some may be nasty. Seek shelter among the ones that understand you. At the end it will turn out well. Several signs are pointing at a happy future." Mom looked at me with a serious expression. "Something to think of there, Sam. I'll be at your side, and you will never be alone." We paid for the divination and went on with all the baffling things in the Great Hall. I asked my mother the unnecessary question if she believed in horoscopes. "More than ever, darling. We will keep together." The witch contest back at the hotel, we had a dinner in the restaurant. Mom wanted to prepare ourselves for the evening witch party. I really had no idea of what to wear and what was going to happen. But Mom seemed very informed and decisive. Luckily, we have 4 hours. Let's start with doing our nails. I hate the blue color, so we choose a color similar to blood. Now it is very important that you hold your hands still. She went over my nails with a nail file. We sat opposite to each other at the little white table. Mother had covered it with paper not to make a mess. I was told to stretch my fingers. Then she used her many years of experience to apply the deep red polish to my nails, slowly nail after nail. I sensed the familiar scent of nail polish. Then she polished her own with the same color. If you start moving your hands until I tell you, you might ruin everything. We might have to do it all over, and we don't want our new clothes to have red spots on them. Now, my friend. We are both going to dress up at witches. But I only like pretty witches. So, we will be more pretty than scary. We looked at each other. I smiled with anticipation. How do you feel, darling? I don't know. I feel nice, I think. There is so much I don't know about today. I feel like wanting to be a girl. I feel like wanting to be pretty. And I am so curious about what is in your bags. Perfect. Little Sam, you should prepare yourself for your very first dress. We will wear similar dresses. I sighed, I guess. The emotion was pleasant. Dress is girly. No boys wear dresses, I thought. The fact that Mother would wear the same dress was comforting. Since she called it my first dress, it might not be the last. I hope I won't look silly and that anyone will laugh at me. Stay calm. I have it all planned. You and I are going to be the prettiest witches this evening. We tested that the nail polish had dried properly. Mom handed me another gift, this time wrapped in pink with a tag, for my wonderful girl. I wanted to tear the paper off immediately. Mom put her hand on mine. We are girls. We do things neatly. Inside was another, black bra. I felt so girly wearing red fingernails and ready to pick up my fourth bra. I already had a black bra and gazed at Mom, which replied, "Remember you told me you would like bigger breasts? This is a B cup, and I bought the necessary inserts to use with it. The black color will match your spooky dress. Also, this bra was covered in a soft, stretch lace. The straps were also lacy. It looked very feminine. I felt the neat piece of clothing between my fingers and felt an inexplicable joy. I loved being in the girl world. The more feminine, the more exciting. Wow, Mom. This is adorable. I usually wasn't able to be this explicit when it came to my own feminine things. But I had gotten some practice lately. I kissed her cheek. She took my hand and held it against her chest. Can you feel my heartbeat? It's 'cause I'm happy. When you are happy, I am happy. She was visibly touched. Then she dried her tears with the paper handkerchief, smiled and said I should put my new bra on, right arm, then left arm. She fastened the clasp and helped me adjust the straps. How does it feel? Nice. Not too tight. You can see that this one has a bigger cup. Mom produced the two inserts and placed them inside the cups for me. Like this. Oh. Sexy girl. Yeah. I wasn't familiar with my mother using the word sexy. It was a little step too far. But my attention was drawn to my brand new breasts resting in my brand new bra. Then I stretched my arms in all directions and felt the straps pulling my shoulders. Mom had put a pair of black panties for me in the bathroom. I went out there and put them on. Mom asked me to come out. She needed to help me with the next piece of clothing. These are also new to you. If you don't want to ruin them, you need to follow a strict procedure. She rolled down my new black pantyhose and carefully put my toes into them. And in the right sequence, she pulled up the pantyhose until it almost met my bra. Mom commented, "Isn't that a strange feeling?" Yeah. Warm and cold at the same time. Like so many times lately, I felt my heart beat. Fast. I guess I was red as a tomato. But in a pleasant way. This tingling sensation was incredible. Now for the slip. Your new dress needs a slip to sit properly on your body. Slips also prevents your dress from sticking to your skin. She asked me to raise my hands. Then she gently pulled the slip over my head and bra and let it fall until it reached my knees. I felt the cold nylon fabric that caressed my thighs. I faced the mirror, and Mom commented how it gave me feminine curves. The slip had a petticoat lower part which gave an illusion of female hips. Are you speechless, little friend? I think you enjoy your new outfit. Isn't this fun? Got no words, Mom. I really don't. The black dress was a cotton maxi type and went all to my ankles. I stepped into it. Mom pulled it up from the floor and helped me put my hands into the puff sleeves. She also helped me with the zipper in the back. The front of the dress was buttoned in 2 rows all up from the waistline to the black laced collar. The waist was narrow, and the skirt spread out from the waistline. How could you guess that your first dress would be of a 19th century style? You are really sweet in it. Can you see how your bra and inserts fill the bust? I had real boobs that weren't so small anymore. And I really liked my new curves. It was like my new appearance was my real me. I managed to close the clasp of my Taurus necklace all by myself. Mom did my hair and my makeup, which was a lot more explicit than before. I had to hold my head in a fixed position while she applied the difficult liquid eyeliner. Don't move. Don't move. The eyeliner, the blue eyeshadow and the red blush gave a dramatic effect. She painted upward pointing angles on our eyebrows to create the spooky appearance. Then she shouted "Ah" to imitate a witch. I thought she was silly and didn't join the acting. I put on my new high-heeled boots, and suddenly I had to learn to walk again. I practiced walking back and forth while listening to the titillating clicking sound. Mom decided I needed a crash course in feminine posture and manners. Push your bosom before you while walking. Loosen up. Imagine you're made of jelly. Keep your elbows to your body. Walk with small steps. Put your foot in front of the other while walking. Stand with your feet close to each other. When standing, you can put your weight on one leg. Spread your skirt with both hands to the sides when you sit down, and always sit down slowly. Sit with your knees together and make an S-formed body curve. Sit with your hands in your lap, tilt your head and show your boobs. A whole lot of things to learn in 1 hour. The quick finishing school was ended. Mom found our Harry Potter-like hats and sprayed us with perfume. I made my first scary steps in a dress outside our hotel. While waiting for our taxi, I could feel the cool breeze move my petticoat. I love this breeze and the nice scent of perfume that made me feel so dainty. And I was scared to death. The great party was in same hall as the exhibition. And there were still some stands along the walls. The light was reduced, and that felt good. There were moving and flashing floodlight beams with blue and purple color. And there was a band performing rather loud, spooky, grim fantasy music with choir simulation and stuff. It was chilling. But it reduced a little of my fear of being revealed as a female impersonator cheating for a discount. Mom found out I needed a purse. And she bought me a very simple gray shoulder bag with black bats on. It was obviously sewn by some of the locals. And it suited my dress. We found ourselves a round table with 6 to 7 other guests we didn't know. There was a funny talkative guy with an equally funny hat. And 2 women wore long goth-style dresses. There was also a boy of my age. He had a wizard hat and a long robe. His presence was a bit alarming, and he sat right next to me. Would he disclose my real gender and make fun of me? Mother held my hand, and we watched the entertainment. She encouraged me to present myself to my gallant and informed me she had signed us in as Claire and Sammy Peterson. I shook the boy's hand and told him my name was Sammy. He presented himself as Matthew. All the others wanted to say hello to me too. So, I stood up on my stilt-like boots, held my left hand against my chest, tilted my head and smiled to them. "You're good. You know that?" Mom was fascinated about my achievements and whispered her appreciation into my ear. Then she squeezed my hand hard, nodded and smiled to me. There was a costume competition, and we all got name tags. Referees were supposed to do their judgments during the evening, and some of them turned up at our table later on. We were served bat stew with frog spit and ashes from corpses. But it tasted like chicken. Then there was dancing. My mom loves dancing, took my hand and led me to the dance floor. I managed to get up there without falling, one small step at the time. But it seemed like a giant leap to dance as a girl. I didn't even know how to do it as a boy. In the beginning it was easy to move freely to the spooky music. I just tried to be like jelly. The darkness calmed my nerves. Then it was line dance to hell, which was a lot more difficult for most of us. I felt like a fish out of water. I chose to laugh, holding my hands up to my mouth. Nobody seemed to notice, probably because they had their own problems. Horror! My friend Matthew wanted to dance with me. I felt like saying no, but I smiled and said yes. Then I told him I was a bad dancer. But he was a gentle guy with dancing skills. So, he led me in the dance, bowed and thanked me afterwards. I managed to make an improvised curtsy like I had seen other girls do. At the table, Matthew could not take his eyes off me. I got the feeling that my cover was blown. Mom wanted to go to the bathroom. And I joined her like girls do. Automatically, I staggered toward the men's room. But Mom gently guided me to the right place. We made a touch-up of our lipstick. Mom took my hand. I think Matthew fancies you. Be nice to him. What? I'm serious. Watch his eyes. He's got no clue about your background. Just enjoy being admired. You deserve it. Smile a lot like girls do. You're hot, girl. My self-conscience was reinforced. I thought I'd play the game. I asked Matthew about his background and tried to hide mine. He thought my costume was nice, and I complimented his. We managed to small talk. Gosh! He asked for my number. I had to lie that I didn't have a cellular. Then he asked for Mom's. But I was saved by the bell. The result of the costume competition was to be announced. There were prizes for the best wizard outfit and the best witch costume. And a little kid got his own prize. Then there was a prize for the best mother and daughter outfit. And guess what? The winners are Claire and Sammy Peterson. This was just a shock. Not 1 minute had I imagined such an outcome. I had been sneaking around there trying not to draw too much attention. Now I was on my way up to the stage arm in arm with my mother. Step by step. 1 foot in front of the other, balancing on high heels. The clicking sound was drowned by the applause from the audience. On stage, I tried to remember Mom's guidance. I put my weight on one leg, presented my bosom, kept my elbows close to the body, tilted my head a little bit and smiled. Mom got her flowers and the diploma first. There was a lot of clapping and flashing from cameras. Then it was my turn. The applause increased and would not stop. I made a curtsy again. People whistled and shouted. This was unbelievable. It just could not be true. And I started to love the moment. Mom held my hand, looked at me and embraced me, right there on stage with everybody watching back at the hotel. I was so overjoyed and grateful. Mother asked, "Do you believe Med now? You are a lot more convincing and attractive girl than you have been thinking. And the happiest person this evening is me." Getting home from the astrology convent, I had to handle all the impressions the witch party had made to me. I had been dressing up as a girl in a full dress with makeup and nail polish. But I didn't have a clue whether this was my real me or just a role I played. The terrified joy of dressing female made me quiet and thoughtful. Mom observed this and tried to make me share what I was thinking of. We were sitting opposite to each other at the kitchen table, like we so often used to. Mother caressed my hand with hers. "What is on your mind?" "Nothing. Do you know something? It is impossible not to have thoughts. We have thousands of them every day. You are thinking right now. So many things happen. The witch party, yeah. We dressed up as witches. What about it? I never faced so many people before. Did you like it?" "Kinda. Did you like your friend Matthew who sat right next to you? You know, like Mom." "Shut up." I looked away. But I also knew the question might come. The possibility of being gay was a scary thought. And it felt strange to me. I enjoyed Matthew's attention at the convent, but did I want to hold his hand? Did I want him to kiss me? I had a bad feeling in my stomach. He asked for my phone number but didn't get it. I had to lie, which I hated. And what about all this femininity that I was indulging myself in? I had to be sick or something. But thinking of girly things led to nice feelings. How could it be wrong to feel joy? My head was full of considerations and ambivalence. Coming out to Mom interrupted my thinking. Maybe we should go and see one of your true fans? Huh? I mean Grandma. She loves you more than anyone. Seeing my vital and refreshing grandmother was always pleasant. Her home was a safe haven. I always felt welcome there, no matter the situation. And right now, I was in the middle of a mental turmoil. How could I say no to Mom's suggestion? The next question from Mom was inevitable. Is Grandma's visitor a boy or a girl? This was difficult. Last time I saw Grandma, I wore an invisible bra. That was my hidden girlhood, not to be displayed. Nevertheless, she must have sensed or known about my femininity in some way or another. And she awarded me with her own grandma's ring. In addition, she requested from me to wear the ring always. I think she threw an anchor into my feminine heart. And now I was supposed to suddenly turn up as a girl. Was I ready for that? Should I give her such a shock? Of course, I didn't realize all the hidden phone conversations that had taken place between my mother and hers. Mother interrupted me again. Remember, she likes all of you. You can present yourself in the way you want. You will always get the hugs, the compliments, and the nice dinner. Maybe, girl, yeah. Sure. We'll do that. I think she would like to see us this afternoon already. Mom looked excited like she always did when it came to my feminine desires. Of course, she had already made the appointment with Grandma. It was all in their hands, but I wasn't aware of how close the two were in touch with each other. Mother studied my eyes. You know something? I'd like to see more of your eyes. What do you mean? May I just shape your eyebrows a little bit? I was sitting in our recliner leaning back like at the dentist's. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Mom was singing and humming while plucking my eyebrows. Show me if your ouching can match the rhythm in my singing. I stopped my complaining. But the little eye shaping took long. Most of the hairs were removed from the lower part of my eyebrow, where it hurts the most. Now have a look at yourself. I didn't see a big difference at first. But Mother assured me there was a change. What about school? I don't think they will even notice. They haven't studied your eyebrows before. Why should they do it now? I think you should show off a little for Grandma today. Show her the girly part of you. Wear your bra and a sweet feminine top. Mom went to the closet and found a long powder blue top with a rather high neck. It had frills all over the chest. Below the chest the top flared out and covered my hips, almost like a tunic. Put on your gray stretch jeans and let's try this top on you. I just love it. But you can't wear your boy briefs underneath the stretch pants. They will show. I'll find a panty for you. I went out to the bathroom to put on my panty and jeans. I then took off my boy t-shirt. May I help you with the bra? Sure. I knew how to put the bra on by myself, but I enjoyed the assistance. I cherished the care and protection against my own doubt and ridicule. She held my only B-cup bra in her hands, and I put my arms into the black garment. Then she fastened the hook, pulled it down and adjusted the straps. I chose to place the inserts by myself. I then lifted my arms, and Mother let me put on a camisole she had bought at the mall. Arms up again, and she let my new frilly top drop down my torso until it was into place. Mother clapped her hands. "Look at you!" It was time to redden again. But I also felt a great inner pleasure of being feminine and pretty. Mom had always tried to make me express my feelings. So, I tried. It's smooth, Mom. It really is. You mean sweet? Right then it was time for her hugging and embracing from behind. I actually loved this. Do you want to try clip-on earrings? Mom went through her drawer. Where are they? Here. It's a long time since I used you, dear friends. She held 2 pearl earrings in her hand. Then she attached them to my earlobes. Cute. Heading for Grandma, I wore my star-spangled gray and blue jacket. But it didn't hide my protruding breasts. I also wore my low-heeled boots. Together with Mom, I had applied some mascara. My lips were covered with a pink lipstick Mother had given me. She had also finished my hair. I am sure I looked like a sweet girl and nothing else. But I was afraid. The astrology convent was like Halloween. But this was real life. Was Grandma going to accept me like this? I sank down in the car seat as if I didn't want to be seen. Are you sure Grandma is not going to laugh at me? Has your grandmother ever made fool of you? No, I don't think so. So, why should she do it this time? But Mother, I am all girl. I have boobies. Yes. And they're so pretty too. I know older women would envy your firm breasts. She has never seen me like this. No, but you will make her happy. I'm sure. How do you know that? I know my mother, and she knows you. Maybe your appearance is not such a big surprise to her. That was unbelievable. I shivered of fear the last mile before we pulled into Grandma's driveway. For some reason, all my attention was drawn to my chest. I felt like 2 huge tits with a boy attached to them. All other feminine attire like earrings, stretched trousers, mascara, and hairdo were out of my mind. On the way up to the entrance, I walked behind my mother with my head bowed like a prisoner heading for his execution. Ding dong! The doorbell sounded like a church bell on a yard's distance. Normally Grandma's embraces last about 15 seconds. This one was like a minute or so. My precious Sam. She rocked me from side to side, smiled, watched my face and kissed my forehead. Then she hugged me again. It was like I had been away for a year or so. I was only concerned about my bosom and how much notice she made of it. But I felt something was different and more passionate with her welcome this time, and I managed to say hello to her. Hi, Grandma. Nice to see you. It is just wonderful to meet you again, Sam. You won't believe how I have been looking forward to this. First of all, I want to check if you are wearing the ring I gave you. Then I want to hear about the astrology convent. She kissed me on my forehead and checked my ring with a smile. I entered the living room. My boots were off, and I was in my socks. But I still wore my jacket trying to hide my breasts. Additionally, I pulled my shoulders forward to make the breasts diminish. After a while, Mom thought I had to be warm and asked me to undress my coat. I handed it reluctantly to her. But then I immediately crossed my arms to hide the breasts behind them. It must have looked ridiculous. But Mom understood the problem and made no comments. Grandma was in the kitchen. Dinner. Coming. It smells wonderful, Mother. Like always. The boy with the tits was not able to smell anything. I had my seat at the table still with my arms crossed. Both my mother and grandmother are rather busty. And it never crossed my mind that I was the one with the smallest bosom among us. Enjoy your meal. How do you eat with crossed arms? I just had to drop my arms and expose my chest. It felt like the whole world was watching me naked. Or like there were cameramen outside the window just waiting for the right vulnerable moment when all my self-conscience was about to drop to the floor. Here I was showing off my 2 ball-formed lumps that didn't even belong to me. And I was just waiting for Grandma's eyes to stare at me and drop her jaw. But it didn't happen. Nothing happened. Claire! Did you like the stew? You must eat, Sam. In fact, they didn't comment on my appearance at all for a long time. I felt a huge relief and finally came to my senses. All my sweating had been without reason. I felt the smell of the wonderful food, and I even enjoyed watching my boobies between me and my knife and fork. In fact, the view of them was so pleasant that Mother had to remind me of the 2 other people present. They laughed, and I was embarrassed. But I survived that. I wasn't until the end of the desert that Grandmother mentioned my clothes. My, isn't that top neat? Did you pick it yourself, Sam? Mom helped me. Claire, I think you hit the bullseye there. It's just adorable on him. Everything suits the handsome one, Mom. Grandmother watched me, but I didn't fear her anymore. She put her arm around my shoulder and looked me into the eyes. Then she looked at Mother. You know something, Claire? I've never seen a more handsome Sam. I am just speechless. Yeah, Mom. I was just about to say the same. He is just my little princess. That's all. Wait, something is missing. Grandma left her seat. Mom and we're watching each other. Mom rose her eyebrows and tilted her head from one side to side. Then Grandma returned with a silver necklace. I was a chain with stars, moons, and seagulls. For some reason I haven't used this for a while. She fastened it behind my neck. What do you think, Claire? I think it's sweet. Go to the mirror, Sam. Then it was my turn to leave my seat. I tried to walk the way Mom had told me in the hotel room, and I watched myself in the mirror. I saw a girl, and I had to admit she was pretty. In fact, she was so beautiful that I could have fallen in love with her. Confusing, but nice. I had a warm feeling in my chest. Right now, everything was okay. The sight in the mirror was delightful, and I tried not to think of future obstacles. I thanked Grandmother, and I went to the bathroom to touch up my lipstick. Returning to the living room, I could see Mother and daughter exchanging glances while smiling. Mother replied, I think Grandmother and I both love that you take care of your appearance, Sam. Grandmother moved in the chair, and now I am ready for the Halloween story. Mom, it wasn't Halloween. Mother rolled her eyes. Grandma must have been so uniformed about the event we had joined. Mom tapped me on my shoulder. Perhaps you could give her some correct information, Sam? I sat right next to my mother with my legs pulled up. That was my favorite position. I watched my boobs and caressed my new necklace with my right hand. Then I told Grandma about the shopping, the exhibition, the fortune teller, the clothing, the costumes. Between each sentence I turned to my mother for approval. I even mentioned my makeup and dinner partner. And then I told her about the prize we received and the applause. Grandmother listened like it was a fairy tale. Wow. Am I impressed what you two have achieved? Tell me, Sam, your mother bought you some tops and a pair of pants at the mall. How many skirts and dresses do you have? I have got the very nice long black dress I used for the witch contest, Grandma. Grandma poked my mother and joked, "Is that all? Claire, are you neglecting your son? He can't be a witch every time he wants to look nice. How many dresses do you have yourself, Claire?" "More than him. But we need some time to fill up a girl's wardrobe. And it's expensive. Money is not the problem. This is important. And he also needs some shoes to use indoors. You can't walk around in your socks like this." Mom was not poor. But Grandma was a widow of an owner of a real estate company. She was pretty wealthy and had supported us several times. "Dear grandson Sam, may I invite you to go shopping with Grandma?" "I'd love to, Grandma." I kissed her on the cheek. She giggled, went over to me in the sofa and whispered in my ear, "You and I, Sam. We're a good team. I know exactly where to go." Mom gave Grandma a hug and thanked her for her support. Shopping meant public appearances in girl mode for me. The memories of my panic attacks in the mall made me uneasy. I took off my 2 clip-on earrings. These start to hurt. The 2 women looked at each other before we said goodbye. "Express your feelings in the car on the way home." Mom wanted another express your feelings training. "You know, Sam, women are usually better to express their feelings than men. And that is a desirable gift. You have already made progress. But perhaps we should do some more training on our way home. Could you give me a summary of what we just experienced? And I don't accept any don't knows." I tried my best. "We had dinner." "Right, little friend. Is that all?" I had to think it was chicken stew, and I was a bit afraid before I came there. "That was visible, Sam. I didn't like that, and I tried to cheer you up. But it wasn't that bad after we arrived." "Exactly what were you afraid of?" "Showing off my balloons, I guess. Let's call them breasts, Sam." "And how did that go?" "Grandma didn't make a big deal out of it." "Okay. And what did that do to you?" "It was chill. And that means I felt relieved." Mom nodded behind the steering wheel. "I can recognize that feeling." "And what happened thereafter?" "Not much." "Come on, Sam." I felt Oklahoma. That was also obvious to me. What does okay really mean? I started liking my, breasts. Being this explicit was difficult to me. "And? Mom, I'd really like a new dress." "Sure. Now we're talking, little princess. Grandma is going to buy you one." "Why would you like a new dress?" "Because I like it." That wasn't a real answer, was it? Try again. "Why would you like a new dress?" "Forget it, Mom." "No, I won't. We are talking about things that are important to you." "Come on, sweetie. It makes me feel like a girl. And it makes me feel high as a kite." "My dearest Sam. I just love it when you feel high as a kite." Mom asked me to find a Kleenex in her purse, just to wipe a tear from her eye. I wish I could lick her earlobe. But that would have been a traffic hazard. I didn't show much of the girly me at school. Mom once introduced me to a bra because of my chest pain. In the aftermath, it was surely over the top and a rather awkward suggestion. But it was a spark in my life, and it opened doors to a new and pleasant world. I am grateful for it, and I carried on wearing the hidden A-bra in spite of the senselessness. Gradually, I had supplied with panties and pantyhose. I learned how to put on my pantyhose without making runs in it. I preferred the pantyhose on cold days. At school I tried to keep my hair boyish, but it was a bit difficult since it was so long. Mom taught me to put it in what she called a man bun. I don't know how masculine that was, but it was tolerated. Otherwise, I was all boy. But with Mom, I kept dressing like a girl most of the time. My appearance at school was not according to my inner desires. I wanted to be more feminine but was stuck in my fear of being made a fool of. Mother, my trusted and experienced guide, used to push me in the girly direction. But when it came to school, she was a lot more careful. One thing was to dress for Grandma. School was something else. I was certainly not the type to just turn up in school as a girl. I admire all the brave people, but I am not among them. So, I was slowly experimenting with my appearance and how I could handle my own fear. One of the small steps would be my nails. Mom had told me how I could keep my nails neat without using nail varnish. She introduced Med to a 6-step nail file where I started at step 1 and progressed to step 6. After the procedure, my nails were shining like a mirror. I was also encouraged to slightly increase my nail length. But then I had to be careful not to break them. My pretty nails were not noticed at school. I managed to relax. Mom suggested I used a nail hardener. I didn't want to destroy the nice surface I already created with the nail file. So, we chose a clear and glossy nail strengthener. Also, this time there were no comments from my classmates, which were mostly girls. I think they were minding their own business. After a couple of weeks, we were doing group studies. I presented my written work to Lucy, who was sitting right next to me. Lucy was one of the lovable, caring and humble girls in my class. She was a tall blonde nice young woman wearing high ponytail and bootcut jeans. And I felt attached to her in some way. Suddenly she noticed my nails. Your hands are so neat, Sam. I must have blushed. How was I supposed to explain this? I presented a half lie, they break so easily. So, Mom taught me how to take care of them. Mine break too. Have you found a solution to that? They're okay now. I see that. Tell me how you do it. We had a little chat about nail care until the teacher made us go ahead with our project. I think this was my first day of coming out at school. It was no big step, but a start. And I continued manicuring my nails. Mom and I used to have our cozy nail polishing moments. She helped me with applying the polish. And she also suggested using a little bit of color from time to time. But I didn't dare to wear color at school. Mrs. Henderson, I had a day off at school, and I was supposed to go shopping with Grandma. Mother couldn't drive me to her because of her job. So, I had to take the train all by myself. But it was no big deal. I was 13, and I had traveled the same route several times before. Mom prepared me for the trip. Grandma had instructed her to shave my legs since we were shopping dresses and skirts. I didn't have much hair, so that went quick. But it was funny that my first shaving was not on the chin. Grandma wanted me to arrive in girl mode since we were going directly from the railway station to her selected shop. I was also told to wear my B-cup bra and a skin-toned pantyhose underneath my clothes. This was my first outing as a girl all by my own. And I was nervous as usual. Mother dressed me in my gray narrow jeans and a turtleneck tight top that had a vertical striped pattern. The top was of no use in hiding my boobies, and I had to rely on my astrology jacket. My makeup was discreet, and there was nothing flashy about me. Nevertheless, I felt I was drawing attention from everyone when I was waiting for the train in the morning. In the train seat, I stared at my cellular and did not look up until the conductor collected my ticket. Morning, miss. Click. Click. There you are. Have a nice trip. I seemed to fool the conductor. Maybe it was time to calm down. I looked out of the window at all the passing posts, the fields, the cars, and the people that were heading for their jobs. I fumbled with the content of my bat-decorated bag. Inside was an apple, a banana, a scarf, extra socks, my cellular, wallet, and my lip gloss. After a while I felt more excited than scared. Somehow, I knew there would be no ridicule and that I was going to be taken care of. Grandma seemed so protective. I just wanted to stick to her and feel her care and strength. Somebody found the seat right next to me at the aisle. I swallowed. It was a big man with a hat. He smiled to me, and I had to smile back. "Are you going far?" "No, only for Chrisburg, shopping with the other girls maybe?" "Sort of." No more discussion. I was so happy that Chrisburg was already there. I said goodbye to the man. Coming to terms with my recent encounter drove my attention away from the other passengers leaving and entering the railroad car. Grandma was there on the platform. And I was so happy to see her. I just clasped her around the neck. "Grandma. We're a winning team, Sam. You remember that? We will have so much fun today. How was your trip?" "Great. I talked to 2 people." "Okay?" "First, I met the conductor, then I had a chat with a man." Grandma never asked about the extent of my chat but gave commendation for talking to strangers when I was so nicely dressed. We all need some practice talking to people, don't we? I fooled them, Grandma. I don't think you did, Sam. You are a girl and a boy. They were talking to the girl, Sam. She is real. By the way, I believe Claire has taught you some girl moves, hasn't she? I know them, Grandma. We need to be like Jelly. Jelly? Has Mom told you that? Yeah, does it bother you if I remind you on being Jelly once in a while? Of course, I agreed to that. I felt so eager and joyful. My anxiety was already on a low level, and I was looking forward to what was going to happen. Okay, Sam. We are heading for Auburn and Winters. It is a high-end clothing store. I have made an appointment with Mrs. Henderson. She is a very decent woman, an old friend of mine and probably the most experienced saleswoman in the store. She knows exactly what you need. Feel free to express what you want. And Mrs. Henderson already knows about a grandson of mine, but never heard of a granddaughter. So, I can't pretend you're a biological girl. Okay? Ready for the moves? Sure. 1 foot after the other. Keep your elbows to the body. I'm already like Jelly. You need to be Jelly too, Grandma. Grandma laughed and agreed. We started the 300-yard stroll to the store. There were cars everywhere. A couple of weeks ago they would have been like monsters to me. But now I was more relaxed and concentrated on my walking, ready for Mrs. Henderson. The window displays in her shop were full of stiff black faceless mannequins wearing women's clothing. And the lighting was dramatic. Strangely, there were no price tags visible. I took a deep breath and felt the thrilling anxiety. I had been in a women's clothing store with Mom before. But this one was a bit different. I saw endless rows of metal racks and coat stands. On them there were hangers with interesting clothes. But it all was so overwhelming. I noticed the spotlights in the ceilings. On the wall there was a picture of a pretty woman wearing a coat. The only sound was the soft music that came from some hidden loudspeakers. That was good, because I didn't feel for rock music at the moment. They had just opened the store, and some shop assistants were chatting and waiting for customers. They all wore knee-long black narrow skirts and a red blouse. Joanna! How nice to see you! Beth, I had to see the very best, you know. It must have been Mrs. Henderson that gave Grandma a hug. She wore an identical uniform. And this must be Sammy? Correct. This is my proud and very beautiful grandchild. Beautiful indeed, Joanna. Must be your genes. You're just too kind, Beth. Sammy, I have been so eager to meet you. Your grandmother has told me so many nice things about you. And now you came to see me. I feel honored. How do you do, Mrs. Henderson? Nice to see you too. Mrs. Henderson placed her hands on her thighs, bent a little forward and smiled like we had a little secret. She lowered her voice and said, "And I've heard you just love dresses and skirts. Am I right?" I must have blushed right there. I nodded, looked down and answered, "Right, Mrs. Henderson. I do." How lucky. I have thousands of them. Now tell me a little about your preferences. I was speechless again. I desperately needed all the girl emotion talk practice I had from Mom. But nothing worked right then. Do you like the skirts to be narrow or white, red or black? Do you like the dresses to be long or short? I paused for a moment, looked at Grandma, then Mrs. Henderson. I think I like all of that. Good. Then Grandma can buy the whole shop. They both laughed. I told Mrs. Henderson that Grandma couldn't afford that. Mrs. Henderson smiled. I think we should start with measuring you. Please follow me. We passed all the racks and went to a large fitting room area. You can hang your jacket here, Sammy. This fitting room is for you this morning. Undressing my jacket meant putting my two breasts on public display again. This time there was no time for arms crossing or any hesitation, and Grandma took the jacket. I stood in front of the saleswoman with my two glorious boobs behind a white and red striped top and gray tight jeans. Mrs. Henderson had her measuring tape over and under my bust. Then she measured my hips and told me to stand under a measuring stick to get my height. Mrs. Henderson was ready for her statement, "Okay, 5'4". Nice. Shall we start with skirts? My recommendation is that we either find wider skirts or skirts with a high waist. The reason for that is that your hips aren't the widest. We can compensate with wider skirts or skits that don't show the hips off. I suggest we look for flare skirts. Do you like them short, Sammy? I was back to my senses after my initial announcement of loving the whole store. I feel a little bit naked wearing short skirts, Mrs. Henderson. Can you find some that are longer for me? Sure. Let's see. She disappeared for a pretty long time. Grandma told me I was good at loosening up and that I spoke very respectful to Mrs. Henderson. She also told me she had a very good time herself and loved women's fashion. I'd just love to see you wearing what she presents you, Sam. I'm keen on it too, Grandma. Hope you can help me dressing. I pointed into the spacey fitting room the shop offered. The room had an arched entrance with a heavy red curtain hanging at the side. Inside was a matching red cube to sit on and a tall mirror in the corner. The floor in the room and the hallway was covered with black tiles. So, here we are. Mrs. Henderson was carrying skirts over both arms. In addition, she brought an assistant equally loaded with clothes. Grandma laughed. Beth, you are amazing. Now, I have got some blue ones, a red one, a purple, green. Denim, synthetic, cotton. My favorite is the denim one, but I'll come back to that. How about trying on this black and white floral knit skirt? It should be your size. And I brought a matching top for it too. Please. Grandma went with me into the fitting room and pulled the curtain. I stripped off my top and jeans and exposed my bra to her for the first time. She looked me up and down. I was wearing panties, a skin-toned pantyhose and my black B-cup bra. She looked pleased. I can see that Claire has dressed you according to instructions. Now let's see if we can get these things on you. She started with the top, which was a black knit pullover with narrow arms. The arms flared out in the lower part. Then black flared skirt was high-waisted, and I put my top into it. The skirt was of a heavy fabric and ended right above the knees. It had a white floral pattern in the knitting. Now, isn't that adorable? Grandma was obviously thrilled by the sight of me. Mrs. Henderson produced a pearl and crystal pendant and a pair of black pumps. She asked me to come out in the area between the fitting rooms. I watched myself in the huge mirror and managed to show the female manners that I had learnt. I held my wrist to the hips, made hot twirl, leaned on one leg, tilted my head and smiled. I felt aroused and happy. Mom should have heard me. This is just so beautiful. I am glad you liked it. But there are also other possibilities here. Then we went on with different skirt and top combinations. All the skirts were A-line or flared. Mrs. Henderson showed me her favorite, which was a denim skirt, also high-waisted with a flare. It stopped above my knees and had pretty details sewn into it. You know, most girls your age prefer shorter skirts. Maybe you should allow yourself one of these for casual use. Use a white cropped top like this with it. We pulled the curtain again and tried it on. Grandma nodded and shared her opinion. It makes you look exactly like your peers. I think you should choose this combo and the first one. Thanks, Grandma. She turned herself to Mrs. Henderson. I think Sammy has made the choices on skirts and tops. Now let's go for the dresses. The saleswoman took another turn into the shop. Grandma asked me how I felt. Cool, Grandma. I can't wait for the dresses. Like we did with the skirts, I think you should choose one casual dress and one formal. Yes. You're not going to a wedding. Your formal dress should be semi-formal, like the ones for Christmas. The casual one is for everyday use, but you must feel well in that too. And you should be able to blend in with your peers. The number of possible dresses was not smaller than the one of skirts. And I dressed and undressed continually. We used a lot of Mrs. Henderson's time. But she seemed pleased to serve her old friend's grandson. The chosen casual dress was blue and white with a leopard pattern print. It had long sleeves and the dress went to the knees. And we still followed Mrs. Henderson's advice on the high waist. It had a button-through bodice and a drawstring tie to accentuate the waist. The skirt was loose to gently drape over the hips and thighs. I simply loved it. Then we had to find a formal dress. I knew I didn't like the high splits in these skirts. So, those dresses were removed from Mrs. Henderson's selection. I'd like the party dress to be long and have short sleeves. Mrs. Henderson, both Grandma and Mrs. Henderson seemed to wonder that I had opinions. But it also made it easier for the saleswoman to pick dresses. We landed on a light and fluid silky red dress that went mid-calf and had ruffled pretty sleeves. The dress had a buttoned front and a semi-deep neckline. We were careful not to show that my breasts weren't real. This time Grandma's jaw dropped. But it was in a pleasant way. She found the dress absolutely precious and claimed that it manifested the girl in me. And something new happened. I sighed and started sobbing. It was so embarrassing, and I shivered. This was all too much. It was my time to need a Kleenex. Then all three of us started chuckling. Grandma held her arms around me. You are my little one. Then she turned to Mrs. Henderson. I think Sammy has said yes to the dress, Beth. It went into the bag together with all the other expensive pieces of clothing. But then I asked, may I wear the casual dress for the rest of the day? That was no problem to Mrs. Henderson. She just removed the tag and took it to the counter. Grandma had found a black dense pantyhose to protect me from the winter cold. She also bought me a white slip to wear underneath my casual dress. I put it all on completed with the star jacket. It actually matched my dress. I used the mirror in the changing room to touch up my lip gloss. Grandma used her card, and I avoided watching the bottom line of the receipt. Grandma expressed her appreciation for Mrs. Henderson's assistance. Mrs. Henderson turned to me. You are such a grateful and beautiful customer, Sammy. I'd love to see you again either here or some other place. Then we excused ourselves and left. The jelly team, I'm starving, Sam. Shall we find a restaurant and have lunch? At the cafe we found a table all by ourselves. We sat opposite to each other like I used to do with my mother in our kitchen. The cafe was rather dark, and I felt safe. We ordered tuna salad and Diet Coke. Oh, Sam. What a morning! Yeah. Tell me about it. I had my usual difficulties speaking directly when sitting face to face with someone. If I couldn't do it to Grandma, I'd never manage. So here we go. It was overwhelming, Grandma. She took my hand. Oh, Sam. I noticed that. Did I make a fool of myself when I started, crying? No, you made a big impression on us. You were happy, weren't you? I nodded, and another tear came to my eye. Grandma wiped her eyes too. Our faces came closer to each other, and then we giggled. You have no idea what you mean to me, Sam. Tonight, when I'm in bed, I am going to thank God for making me able to spend a little fortune on this precious new girl in the family. Did you like my new clothes? I cherished your new clothes, Sam. But most of all, I adored the person inside them. Ah, Grandma held her hand in mine and rolled my ring between her fingers. I let my other hand rest on the hem of my dress. I think your mom pressed a button when she bought you your first bra. But we knew in the first place that something was about to happen. I had saved the ring for several years knowing that you one day might have it. And then all of a sudden you started blossom. I watched my bosom that was covered with the leopard pattern print. I kinda like them. We know, Sam, we know. And they suit you. Feel confident. Show your breasts with pride. We girls are the strongest. We're a team, you and I. We're the jelly team. I made some extremely feminine gestures with my hand. Grandma laughed and accepted our name. I think your mom also should be in the team. Cool. I was getting loose in a double sense of the word. How about a C-cup for me, Grandma? No, that would make you different from the other girls of your age. You are a pretty 13-year-old girl and no drag queen. Your B is already a bit too big. You could have worn your ones today as well, but we needed something to fill out your new tops and dresses. By the way, you have only one B cup. I think you would love another one, wouldn't you, naughty little princess? And we're not done yet. More shopping? My dear, if you think you can live as a girl with your tiny wardrobe, you'll suffer. But this time we go somewhere else. Everything doesn't have to be Rolls-Royce. And you need indoor shoes, pants, and a winter coat. I went serious. School scares me, Grandma. I want to be girly but have no idea how to face it. Grandma was thinking some things are easier when you're with your mom and me. What are the girls in your class like? They're cool. Are you close to them? Kinda, and the boys? Most of them are in the other classes. I see. Is there a girl that you feel connected to in any way? You mean Lucy? Tell me about her. She's cool too. In what way? We do things together in school. She saw my nails. What about them? Mom did my nails, and Lucy saw them. And she liked them. Perhaps you should get to know Lucy even better? Must be a nice girl. I can't show her my dress. Maybe not now, Sam. But good friends like each other as they are. The afternoon was full of intriguing shops along the pedestrian zone of Chrisburg. I felt confident, and shyness seemed to vanish. I no longer paid so much attention to others. We bought a pair of girly sandals with moderate high wedge heels. I got a faux fur-lined parka that could cover my cold bottom when I was wearing silky dresses. And she let me pick a new B-cup bra from the hanger. It was a bit tense to select lingerie. I just instructed myself that I was like any other girl, and it worked. I found a nice white bra with lace all over it. It was also padded and full covering. Grandma, though, I needed more pants. If I wanted to mix with my female peers, I would need them. We found a pair of boot-cut narrow blue jeans with some decorations on the back pocket. We added a pair of wide-leg red corduroy culottes and got home to Grandma. Claire, what shall I do with that crazy son of yours? Grandma was on the phone with Mom. I grabbed Grandma's cellular and turned on the loudspeaker. Mom, get ready for the jelly team. The what? Mom laughed. Grandma added, this excited little fella has enough bags and boxes to fill up Mall of America. There is no way he can bring them on the train. I have to ask you to pick him up. Sure, Mother. I've been thinking of you two all day. I can't wait to see my little fashion model and look into the boxes. Mom complimented me on the casual leopard dress I was wearing when she arrived. But we were all too tired to have the catwalk at Grandma's. Mom helped unpack all the things Grandma bought me. She spread my new clothes all over the furniture and inspected each garment. Wow, Sam. Skirts, tops, shoes, dresses. How lucky you are to have all these cute clothes. Then she checked one of the tags and looked at me. Sam, do you have any idea what your new pretty clothes are worth? Have a look at your red new party dress. It's made of silk. Can you believe it? Mother Joanna, are you out of your mind? Grandma was not with us at that day, but Mom spoke to her as if she were. Our little boy is 13. And you buy him dresses for a fortune. Then she calmed down and turned to me looking serious. Your dress is a Michael Kors, Sam. I am sure this dress alone is worth 2 of your new bikes. I was unable to believe what I heard. My bicycle was the big present last Christmas. And my new clothes could be worth 5 or 6 of them. I had no idea of the extent of my new presents. I didn't even have birthday. What had really happened between Grandma and me? And new questions came to my mind. Would I rather have a super bike than all these clothes that belonged to the opposite sex? I was a shy boy. Would I ever be able to wear these clothes outside the house? Mom sat down, and we both tried to come to terms with all this. She put her hands together and looked at me. Grandma loves you deeply, Sam. She wants you the very best. I sensed it yesterday, Mom. Shall we return the clothes? Definitely not. You're gonna thank her by wearing them as often as you can. Wear your dress and smile to her, Sam. Show her that you are happy and that you love your girly presents. Nothing would show her more gratitude. There was no going back on this. Grandma had dropped an anchor into my heart again. I felt the obligation, but also the urge to show Grandma my girly me. I couldn't wait for the next time to see her. The rock star my classmate Lucy and I both liked to sing, and our little school had a choir. My voice hadn't broken yet. I was still a soprano. Lucy was an alto, and we stood right next to each other while performing the carols and the ballads. Being 13, we planned on putting together a music group, and I was supposed to be the singer. A couple of other kids, Marielle, Bobby and Stephanie, joined the group with drums, piano and bass. Lucy played the guitar. I can assure you, it sounded vigorous and dreadful. But we were all enthusiastic and eager to learn. It must have been one of the few pop groups with a soprano male singer. As a caring mother, Mom also followed up our music group. She was present at every performance and used to serve baked goods on our practices. All the group kids were also welcome to our home. I practiced singing the songs at home with Mom as a mentor. In my room, I grabbed the microphone with both hands and imagined singing for a huge audience. Mom approached me from behind. "What a luck you have long hair." Rock stars usually do, don't they? Some do. How about letting your hair down when performing? There are many famous musicians through history that used to have long hair, like Axl Rose, Jim Morrison, Bob Marley and Michael Jackson. You could let your hair grow even longer. I already had rather long hair that I kept in a bun. Mother's comments were intriguing. Now my hair came to my shoulders. With longer hair, I could shake my head in all directions. If you let your hair grow even longer, it might be difficult to keep it neat. You should let me take control over it. And we might need help from Louise the hairdresser. I told Lucy and the others in the group that I planned to let my hair grow. They thought it was cool. Lucy suggested I dye it black and wear black nail polish. That's hardcore, Sam. Go for it. As a small and effeminate teenage boy, I was everything else than hardcore. But I liked the idea of changing appearance. And the girl within me thought she could take advantage of my rock star ambitions. I told my mom about Lucy challenging me to dye my hair. She giggled. "Is my little blonde beauty turning black?" "Yeah, and I can wear black nail polish." After giving it a little consideration, she liked the idea. "We need help from the hairdresser to dye your hair. But if you want to, we can do it." I had an uneasy feeling in my stomach. My worries were mostly about how I would be treated by my male peers at school. The girls in my class and in my music group should be no problem. I knew them. Mom made an appointment with hairdresser Louise. Then she mentioned your studs. Turning black, have you thought of wearing matching black disc ear studs, Sam? I don't like those clip-on earrings. Guys don't wear clip-ons unless they're doing theater or something. Guys with earrings are pierced. I wasn't very brave. Piercing hurts, doesn't it? Sam, don't be such a sissy. I thought you liked me to be one. Mom laughed. Piercing hurts very little. They've got so good equipment these days. Louise suggested piercing the last time we were there. I gave in, and Mother took control. We went to see Louise, who used to dye people's hair several times a day. And to her this was no big deal. She was a bit curious about my plans with my hair, whether I would like it girly or more masculine. I wasn't able to answer her myself. Mom just gave a hint. "He is so sweet, Louise." You can't believe it. Louise nodded as if she understood. "We'll see then, Sam. You are always welcome here for any hairstyle." I enjoyed the hair wash and trimming. Dyeing was strange but thrilling. I dreaded the piercing though. Mom had bought new black disc studs for me. She held my hand while Louise pierced my ears. It wasn't so bad, was it? Mom thought I looked like the Icelandic singer Björk, which I had never heard of. Smiling, Mom stood behind me and watched me in the mirror. What do you think? I was beautiful in my black hair and black studs. Louise had also manicured my nails. Cool, Mom. But I look like a girl. I'm sure they will accept your new look at school. Stick with the girls, Sam. They may protect you. That night I feared what I was about to face. In the morning I was silent and anxious. Mom comforted me. Cheer up, Sam. This is going to be so fine. I knew she felt insecure about it. Any harassment against me would hurt her. That day I didn't wear my bra, just plain boy things. I shivered of fear as I was heading for school. Who was the first to humiliate me and tease me about my new hair? In the schoolyard, some of my female classmates were waiting to enter the school. The reactions were surprisingly positive. Sam has got black hair and earrings. Wow, Sam. You're hip. Who did that? I'd like to dye my hair too. Mom won't let me. There were some guys passing, but they didn't interfere with the girls' group. I tried to stay with the girls as we entered the classroom. The rest of the day I was unconcentrated. My black nails kept reminding me of my new appearance. But there was no bullying whatsoever. I started to mellow out, and the coming days were also uneventful. One of the guys at school gave me a compliment on my black nails. Pop groups with 13-year-old kids don't last forever. Lucy wanted to go back to the choir, which was managed by adults. Marielle and Bobby would rather play netball. The others got tired of the whole thing. But I kept my look, although my rock star career was crushed in the very beginning. Naomi, Sam. Mother and Naomi are coming over tonight. Okay. I'll be there. Where else should I go? We were living in the countryside. In the wintertime we were rather isolated. Naomi is Mother's sister. She is a school nurse, married, and has 2 small boys. I think you should wear your new black flared skirt and top. With your black hair, earrings, and nail polish, you'll be a smashing girl. I felt the fear again, but Mom. Naomi doesn't know of my girl things. I have to be honest, Sam. Mother and I have not kept it secret to her. She knows. Relax. I didn't relax, and the well-known worry of being made fool of was present again. Little princess. I've been thinking of this. I felt so bad when you were dreading the visit to Grandma. You panicked. Maybe it will be easier for you if the 2 adults in the jelly team take a little control and don't leave all the decisions to you anymore? She stood in front of me and took my hands. You feel girly, and we want you to be able to express that. And you need to come out to your aunt sooner or later. But I can't. You can. You made it at Grandma's. And you know the result of that. She absolutely adores you. Just consider the content of your closet. Go take a bath. Something was different with our bathroom this time. There were 2 lit candles there, and Mom had turned the stereo on with an album of Ed Sheeran playing. I enjoyed blowing the bubbles and watching my toes. The warm water eased my anxiety, and there was such a nice feminine scent in the room. With my towels wrapped around me, Mother came in with my black bra and panty set. She told me to put on the panties and then she would help me with the rest. Almost every day we had the little routine of Mom helping me to put the bra on. It was cozy and a sign of closeness. I felt so devoted to her. She opened the clasp, let me put my arms into the bra, fastened the clasp, pulled down the band and adjusted the straps if necessary. And the soft music was in the loudspeakers. There you go, sweetie. Always pretty for Mom. I hugged her, kissed her on the cheek, and felt grateful that she was accepting my femininity. She offered to help me with the black pantyhose. What is Auntie gonna say, Mom? She's gonna love your new look. Sam. Mother pulled my pantyhose all the way almost up to my bra. I felt uneasy. Are you sure? I'm dressed so differently. Absolutely sure. Be proud of yourself, Sam. She is accompanied by your big admirer Grandma, you know. Mom chose to blow dry my hair while I still was in my bra. She used a brush to add volume. Due to all the showering and use of hairdryer, it started getting hot in the bathroom. Mom was warm and asked if it was okay if she pulled off her shirt. In the bathroom mirror, I could see standing there with her black bra. Mom, we have the same color in bras. Right, but you can see that mine is a different style. It's called a balcony shape. And my bra is underwired. Why is it called balcony? It lifts your breasts and creates cleavage. I knew the ABC size thing. What is your bra size, Mom? You mean cup size? It's a double D, I believe. A little larger than AD. Wow. I turned around and faced towards her. Then I watched her breasts. I was shy, but dared to ask, may I touch them? She grinned and answered with her soft voice, of course, if you like. I had never touched a woman's breast since I was a toddler. And it was interesting to know what they were like. I first put my left middle finger on her left breast. The breast was soft, warm, and peculiar, not like my inserts. I cupped her breast in my hand, lifted it, and squeezed a little bit. I was simultaneously shy and curious. Does it hurt? No, mine do. Can I see your nipple? Sure. Mom flipped her bra cup down and lifted her breast out of the bra. I put her nipple between my fingers. Once this nipple was your knife and fork, Sam. I remember very well. I turned back to the mirror and compared the two of us. What's on your mind, Sam? It's unfair. You've got nice boobs and a balcony. I've got two tiny painful lumps that will disappear. Mom went quiet. Would you like to have real breasts, Sam? It was hard to admit, but I nodded. I needed to be a girl. Can I have breasts, Mom? You can under certain circumstances. What do you mean? You need to feel like a girl, and you have to go to the doctor. I felt like a girl, and I wanted to have breasts like Mom. But was I ready to go all the way? Sam, we need to proceed. We have guests coming. Mom handed me a black synthetic camisole that I put on all by myself. It felt chilly when it dropped down over my torso. Then she found the black knitted top that Mrs. Henderson found for me and helped me into it. So careful, darling. It had flared arms and I found it extremely cute. Mom also thought it was sweet. She bowed down and watched my top. This Mrs. Henderson found a very lovable top for you. It enhances your figure. Then we put on my black knitted skirt with flower pattern. Mom handled it with her fingertips as if it came from a museum. You have to be careful with this top and skirt, Sam. They are very costly. Use a napkin when eating. We were finished dressing. Okay. Turn around. Oh my. Have you ever seen such a beauty? I smiled at her, held my elbows to the waist, lifted my hands and made a twirl. Mom was enthusiastic as usual. My skirt flared out so beautifully. Mom looked almost envious. That a girl! She found my wedge-heeled sandals, and I put them on. She put on a white headband that matched the decorations on my skirt. Then she helped me with the makeup, just a little mascara and lip gloss. I am sure you won't forget the girly moves today, do you? Can you repeat them for me? Knees together, one step in front of the other, keep your elbows to the body, be loose like jelly, have an S-shaped body when sitting. Excellent, Sam. We went to prepare the meal. I felt some heartbeats again when the doorbell rang. But it turned out there was no need to fear my Aunt Naomi, who was well prepared by my mom and grandma. She didn't seem to be amazed at all and just complimented me on my clothes. This is classy, Sam. You're an elegant girl. Turn around. Wow. That skirt suits you. Do you like it yourself? I'm grateful to Grandma who bought it for me. Yeah. You're lucky. Grandma, on her behalf, needed to get used to the sight of my new black hair. But then she said it was nice. You finally got your ears pierced. It hurt a little. I am sure you'll not regret. The black studs match your hair and nails. Elegant. The rest of the evening I wanted to stay close to the three women that were chatting and gossiping. I found my place right next to Mom, took my sandals off and pulled my legs under my skirt. That evening I was curious of the female gender and tried to follow their conversation. That was not always easy, and a lot went above my head. But they tried to include me from time to time. What do you think, Sam? Grandma was concerned with feminism. She talked to me as if I were a future woman who had to fight for her rights. I enjoyed being included as a woman but had no idea that they were discriminated against. On the contrary, I felt I all these years had been excluded from the desirable womanhood. Aunt Naomi, who was a school nurse, finally addressed the elephant in the room. What do you think about the future, Sam? Do you like being a girl? I think so. But how can I be a real girl, not just be dressed like one? Naomi told me about puberty blockers, hormone replacement therapy, and the sex reassignment surgery. She turned to Mom. I don't think there is much time. His breast lumps are an early sign of puberty. It is still possible to stop the development into manhood. Then he can live as a girl while he tries to sort out things. Mom helped me undress in the bathroom after our guests had left. She carefully unzipped my skirt, folded it and put it on a chair. Maybe you should see Dr. Johnson, Sam. Johnson was our GP. I hadn't seen him since I hurt my arm several years ago. Mom helped me off with the top. Is he going to operate on me? No, he won't. But he might examine you. Now sit down while I remove the pantyhose from your ankles. Seeing a doctor would be a major step. But I agreed. Mom used the cotton pads to remove my makeup. You're facing puberty, Sam. You'll have beard and broad shoulders. Do you want that? No, I want to be a girl. Only a couple of days later we saw Dr. Johnson. I wore my girly things. He examined my testicles, and that was embarrassing. Then I was referred to a specialist in endocrinology. There were several interviews with a psychologist, and the hormone doctor measured my testicles. The final result was that I was offered puberty blockers. And I started the medication. Mom seemed relaxed with that. Now you have plenty of time to sort things out, Sam. But I still had difficulties showing my girliness at school. Mom and I had several discussions about it. We both knew there was no way around this, and I just had to do it. Nevertheless, I was still not ready to turn up in a dress on a Monday morning. Mom suggested I just gradually and steadily changed my appearance in a girly direction. And I had already started with my black long hair and black plastic discs in my earlobes. Sam, I love you new ear studs. The girls in my class noticed that the discs were replaced by new diamond ones. In fact, they were of silver with fake stones. But that didn't matter to anyone. And I was pleased with the way my new jewelry was received among the girls. And I gained some self-confidence again, feeling I was on the right way to 100% womanhood. After some weeks, I took the next step and wondered if anyone noticed my mascara. This time there were no comments at all. It was like they just expected me to be girly. One day I was invited to Caroline's birthday party as the only boy. Mom said it was a sign of inclusion among the girls and that I should enjoy it and ride on the wave. And she told me I could safely go a little step further in showing my femininity. We planned the outfit carefully. I still didn't want to wear a dress or a skirt, but agreed on a girly blouse and tights. So Mom and I took the car and bought something suitable. As usual, Mom pushed it a little bit. On the day of the birthday party, she dressed me up in a single-colored gray pair of tights. And the blouse was like a tunic, covering my crotch. It was blue with height waistline and a flare. And the front panel was lacy. Actually, it was very girly without strictly being a dress. My nail polish was now of a modest pink color. Although I started to get used to showing off my femininity, I was scared again when Mom took me to the party. She told me she had prepared Caroline's parents for my new appearance. And she had instructed them just to let me blend in with the girls and not make any fuss. And that is just what happened. Some of the girls commented on my blouse, and some didn't. I tried to join the girl talk and be interested in clothing, makeup, and boys. And after a while I dared to ask if blue was my color. Some told me I should try pink and red with my black hair. And I felt so relieved. Like I was a girl now. I was eventually able to manage my anxiety at school. And I showed increasingly feminine appearance and behavior. Mom praised me for my courage and always told me I was beautiful and attractive. And one day I wore my first dress to school. Wearing a dress was in my mind the 100% statement of being a girl. There was now no way back, and I could handle the few and increasingly infrequent comments from boys at school. And I had longed for it for a long time. I was now my mother's daughter and schoolgirl, nothing else.